Wow, that's big, is what they're going to be saying when they watch that game.
What a massive performance,
What
Alex.
a huge performance. We can't say big. But yes, big, playing big. It's really hard for the casters, but bless them, they did do it. And we did get to see that none other than the German side, Big, take over Astralis on overpass. Like, whoa. We're going to try and comprehend this one. We have YNK and Spun J. I'm looking at you, the Aussie from down under. Explain how they come back from something like that. I mean, it's 11-4 half. If things are looking, you know, dreary, we've even had Yanko framing it perfectly by saying, look, they have to have a good start. Tapson has to be firing on all cylinders. You know, the usual criteria for an underdog victory.
At this point,
they don't get it.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, let's just move on to map 2. This should be over. This should be done and dusted, as we like to put it. But the fact that they showed on that T side with those constant reset rounds, making it really difficult for Astralis, and then as that half went on and things started to look more and more dire, that's when you saw Astralis trying to do more aggressive moves. But it didn't really pan out for them, and Big were able to capitalize on all the situations, take it to overtime with a couple of missed plays coming in from the Astralis guys. Sure. And once they got there, they looked like they were in full control.
And then, you know, if I asked to kind of start pointing fingers and start pinpointing how you lose a lead like that as a team that we describe as being consistent, Yanko, I mean, where do I start pointing my finger?
I was talking about a good start. That did happen, although in the second half for Big, right? Yeah. Winning pistol and then getting the reset almost every single time in that second half. That's what you want. The thing is, I think in some situations, Astralis probably, especially considering the score in the first half, they should have doubled eco more often and had like pure gun rounds. We saw a couple of, you know, not weird force buys, but I just think that it was a bit unnecessary, right? You just should have played a bit more for the pure gun rounds and maybe go for some of those aggressive moves a bit earlier on.
You just saw then the Zipnik spamming through the smoke when they were on that pistol eco. Well, it was basically just USPs.
1v1.
He was spamming through the smoke, right, and he almost killed the planter, and I think there was maybe like 7 seconds or something ridiculous left on the clock. If he had made that miraculous kill, it would have been all over Red Rover, and we would have been moving on to the second. But the fact that, you know, once he's in that position, doesn't get the kill in the 1v1 against Tabson, who has an AK, he only has a USP, you never win in that. It's just like, those are the kind of rounds that they almost finished the game on. It didn't feel like they had anything competitive.
And we were talking about aggression and innovation when it comes to Big and this particular game, and we saw both. I mean, innovation in terms of that double incendiary on the CT side thrown towards Playground, and you saw Device in overtime, like only left on 17 HP or something along those lines, having to use a smoke as well to extinguish it for a team. And like Astralis, that's a big deal if you just have to use a smoke like that, because they usually use all of their utility during a round. And aggression, well, in overtime they went with double op early on, Legia and Kiev, and again that paid off. Legia with 4K with the AWP after having a slow first half, definitely picked up the slack.
You're asking about pointing fingers, Alex, and I normally don't like to do it, especially based off stats. And I'm just going to quickly bring up here and just talk about God B not having a lot of frags, but winning 2 vital clutches, right? So that's with the signs where stats don't matter, right?
That's a good pointing finger.
Yes, but we're going to point fingers right now. Kyobi is someone who I think has been dropping off, and I've actually got up on the iPad here just his stats in the last 3 months. Now, if we want to just mainly look at the overpass ones, this is the one that they just had against Big at 0.85. You go down, he had a bad performance against LDLC, which was a close match, 0.84.
4.9.
You go down where he had a good one against Liquid, which was a 1.27. But this player, you know, I've spoken to people like Carrigan. I've heard them in interviews talking about how Kyobi is one of the best players at that toilet section on this map. And if he's such an influencing factor, especially the other teams consider him to be, and he's not showing up in matches like this, it's hard for a team like Astralis, because he's meant to be that second, maybe even third star of the squad, right? They've got Devices numero uno. Dupree seems to step up more often than not, and then it's meant to be Kyobi in there. But right now we're seeing more out of Glaive. We're seeing more out of the likes of Zipnix. And it's just, I think he needs to be more of a consistent factor, especially with the role he gets to play if this team wants to get back to some form of glory.
Especially on that map in particular, Overpass selected by you as well. Now, here's a weird one for you. You talked about Astralis being a team that are incredibly fundamentally sound. You know, you mentioned it. You kind of describe yourself default into, you know, establishing map control and choosing a side. Is that not the kind of team that Big would like to play against, because they kind of understand the framework that they're playing within, which is, as we said, they win through innovation, they win through understanding their opponent.
Hammer Ned hammer now head is what I meant to say, Alex, because right there, if you just notice what was happening, they were allowed to execute time and time again, especially in the early stages of that second half. Just they were giving up map control. Big were doing a fantastic job of like getting up and being able to execute. And then when they went for the aggressive moves later, it just wasn't working because Big was ready for it, right? They were ready for those kind of plays, and they weren't able to convert even off openings that they're able to trade out on. So you're right, you don't want to let a team like Big execute.
And I mean, executes are probably going to be an all too familiar story into our next map, Yenko. We're going into Inferno, one of the newer additions to the map pools, or return to the map pool. However, now at this point, teams do seem to have found their footing quite comfortably on the map. I do want to start by asking, you know, does this fall into the same category where Big are going to be able to have a good and firm understanding of where Astralis are going to be playing?
Yeah, I think they're going to be very comfortable on Inferno. Chad mentioned in the pre-game they run at the major, right? Them winning on Inferno 3 times, and they seem to have figured out the map. And again, we saw some creativity from them. Not the jump bug, but the mollies they use, for example, for balcony towards the A bomb site and so on. The way they fight for banana control too. So this is what you said about, you know, them being comfortable playing a team like Astralis. That's true. You know, they are probably more uncomfortable playing a very aggressive team that's going to disrupt them a lot. But this is where Astralis is just supposed to be better at the style, right? I mean, they were touted as the world's best team for a while, definitely in the conversation still, but it's a matter of, in that same style, you're supposed to have, for one, more firepower, and you're supposed to be better at executing it. So now it's time for Astralis to step up their game and equalize the score here.
I mean, is this where we start, you know, asking for individuals like you've highlighted Kirby? If you're saying that Astralis should just be better at the start with more firepower, is it not time for us to just start saying, okay, you know, the usual candidates, we need to see Device going off here. Who Inferno, where are your eyes drawn to? Who do you need to see walking in?
I definitely think Device is a mainstay when you talk about someone needing to show up, because that AWP on the CT side of Inferno can be very effective if you move it around a lot, and if he's feeling it, he can actually find a lot of openings. But I think that A defense, especially with Kirby and those A executes that Yanko was talking about, it's going to be very important for them to be either able to defend against that when they come in, or have some creative moves built, you know, get boiler control, make sure they hold on to halls and make them waste utility, or even go aggressive and find some opening frags. And I think that's going to be where the battle's won or lost for Astralis.
I'd pick out Dupree, because on this map he tends to lurk a little bit more. When his team wants to execute towards B, he's usually the guy left around A, mid, you know, to try and get some kills and be disruptive. While for Big, I think a good thing for them is they understand the way they need to approach different maps, and they understand the importance of banana control on Inferno. And something that Astralis likes to do is leave Device alone in banana after a while with the AWP and cheat that fourth player over towards A. I think Big will be aware of that coming into this game, and they are definitely going to try to chase him away into the bomb side, so that they have to be honest and play it with at least 2 players on B.
Okay, well, we were painting quite a somber picture for Big's chances in the series and for top 6 hopeful in the Pro League into those finals, and I keep digging myself into this hole over in Unsa, and we're going to keep trying.
Udensa?
It's not Udensa.
Udensa.
Unsa.
That sounded good. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm just going to assume Yanko's Danish is better than all of ours. Either way, let's go ahead and kind of put some money where our mouth is. Gents, do Big seriously get a 2-0 versus Astralis in Pro League?
No, I'm doubling down on Astralis.
Astralis. All right. That overpass was a blip on the radar in your eyes. Sounds like the casters are going to be ready for us any moment now. But with that said, we do have one final opportunity, and we've already chosen a player to watch on Astralis. I haven't heard a name from Big, and Chad, it's going to be your responsibility to give me one. Legia had 4 frags at the start for the majority of overpass. Still picks up a 4K and keeps Big's hides safe on overpass.
I'm going to say God B.
Yeah, the Gobber.
Yeah, I think his reads and positioning on the CT side is going to be very important.
Okay, fantastic. Keep your eyes on the leader. He's going to be providing structure for them. But I think it's time to get your casters on screen so they can have a little chin wag with you as well. It's Henry G and Sadakist. Sadakist and Henry G. Whichever one, Henry says he comes first.
Usually I'm pretty quick. But I don't have a response this time. I'm not quick enough. I guess you could say Alex. Maybe not as quick as you.
Maybe not. But here it is. The second map. Who'd have thought? Astralis losing the Big on overpass. Maybe a sign of things to come in the future. Astralis, as we said coming into this one, they're definitely on a bit of a downward cycle right now, but we'll see whether they can bounce back here on Inferno. A very good map for them, but Big, we've cast a lot of their games in this map, especially at that minor in the major qualifier we mentioned earlier, and they were one of the few teams that looked very dominant on this one. They didn't really drop much at all. Now we have to say there was a slight caveat to that in terms of the jump situation. I'm not going to say that was the reason they won the map, but it was certainly something to remember.
It's unfortunate they got discredited for good play. Yes, okay, they may have used it once or twice that gave them credit.
Exactly.
Legia definitely did it once on Banana when they were trying to push up, but again, to discredit all the other good work that they were doing in those series is a bit rude.
Yeah, but I think it's worth a mention of that major. There was a controversy around it. But there we go. I still think they're a very good Inferno team. This on the T side. Look how tactical this execution's going to be, Matt. We've got 3 smokes, 2 Molotovs, 2 flashbangs, decoys. We've got everything. The perfect recipe.
Perfect recipe. Dupree crashed. That's not part of the recipe. That's actually...
No, it is.
Is it? It's part of the simulation. Is the simulation just a recipe, though? Like an advanced, intricate form of one.
I'm sure it'll be fine. We're going to get him back in any second now. CSGO crashes from time to time. It's not the perfect game.
It's true, it's not. It's not bad, though.
It's all right. You compare it to where it was in 2011.
That's
good
right.
Good lord.
Exactly. People don't give it enough credit sometimes.
That's
Hank.
the thing, right? Obviously, CSGO got a lot more traction than Source, but people just judge Source, and the first version that ever came out, right? They said, "Oh, that's a trash game." But then, if you gave Source 5 years like you did with CSGO, it was actually a really solid game towards the end. It was really like crisp, and everything was pretty decent.
I didn't mind it, except for that heads were the sizes of watermelons and easy to shoot.
Yeah, but then it was just like they sorted everything out by the end of it, and just as the game died, it was like pretty perfect. And it's a shame that they obviously didn't have the traction, but CSGO has obviously had a lot more time to work with and support, and you can see it's getting there now. Like, they are slowly but surely getting through all the bugs. So we had the Molotov bug removed last week with the smoke lands on the Molotov, and it doesn't.
Yeah, I had a feeling that that was the issue, is that there was hitboxes. The damaged boxes for the Molotov were spreading with the flames, so therefore they were constantly moving. So you could actually bounce through where damage was being deployed, rather than having the entire surface just deploy damage, which makes more sense. I had a feeling that was probably what it was, but...
No smokes deployed as of yet. We'll go towards the apartments middle. Normally most teams favour towards B, but 3 smokes. I'm very interested to see where this one goes. This team known to bring very avant-garde strategies on Inferno especially. Normally towards our B side, they famously wrap through CT spawn, but there's 1 smoke towards the quad side. Device trying to make the most of it by using it to his advantage, watching the apartments here. Final play coming in. Final smoke and Molotov to be deployed. And here we go, Matthew. What have they got for us? It looks like an A finish.
An A finish if Tabson can get started. Oh my god, that is got to be frustrating. Fires into the chest piece, it absorbs all the bullets, and then when he goes to the reload, someone else kills him. That was hard to watch. I'm sorry, Tabson. As Astralis pick up the first pistol round, just as they did in the first game.
Quite a nice approach from Big. They use that 1 smoke at quad to remove any vision by the hay bales. It means they can get right up there, ready to pounce, smoke at the library as well, flashes over, Molotov in the pit to stop any vision from that broken wall position, and they're going to be striking, but the frags didn't really work in their favour there at all. We did have opportunities for them, but some missed shots does grant Astralis the first round there. 1-0, force buy from Big, no bomb going down. Now we bring out PT50s. I guess it's not really a force buy. They've got a little... Oh, no, it is. They pretty much have got all of them. The scout as well. That'll be them fully committed. Smoke and a couple of flashbangs, PT50s in armour. Keeve with just the deagle. He saves himself $800. Here's the AWPer. Boost it up here. This is such a nice position to be in these sort of rounds. It's just good for 1 kill and dropping off. You obviously have that safety net. As soon as you go down, that wall's there protecting you. So he'll just be aiming for 1 kill here, which he'll probably get now. Does decide to drop off. Maybe a little prematurely. That could have stayed for a bit longer perhaps, but he hasn't got nades to work with it. So he just wants to get a more defensive line. Same idea. 1 kill, full back. Baited out again. And trying to stay for the kill this time. Could be overwhelmed. Doesn't have the need to fall back onto, but he has got a teammate at the coffins. This is Glaive. And he should be able to back him up here.
He's finding good shot on Keeve. Tabson gets Glaive. Zipix doubles back up and finds the kills required. No bomb plant. That's the primary objective of defense. Not allow any extra or additional income go the way of Big. They succeed in doing so. And now we get into another situation in which guns cannot be purchased because they didn't get a plant in either of the first 2 rounds, Hank.
They did not. Ooh, bit of robot action.
Robots. Autobots.
You weren't a fan of our fan fiction earlier.
You know what? The only fiction I like is 50 Shades of Grey, so it's not your fault.
Or the idea of a man treating you like that, do it for you. Really taking control.
You didn't have to get specific, okay?
I'm just saying I'm into it.
I thought
if you
it was
want
an
to give it a go,
story.
I can be dominant if you like. I can tell you what to do.
It would be a dominatrix if you did it, though.
3-0. And that was an eco round. It will be Big with the buy this time. Keeve doesn't get the AWP. I thought he had enough to. Yeah, he did have enough to buy, but it'd be glass cannon. And the Orb's difficult enough as it is on the T side of Inferno. So they won't be messing around with that. Device. He had an okay game on Overpass, but not his usual levels. We have flashbangs towards second middle. This suggests a bit of aggression from Kiabi as he pushes through. The flashbang at least gives him some grounds to move ahead. Goes towards Romeo and tucks himself in the corner. It is a pre-fire. A lot of players will check his position, especially if they're flashed in towards second middle. The UMP needs to win this duel against Legia. He'll be checking it, like I said. Not many people will overlook that corner. Nice work from Big here.
Decent start. Again, they find early picks. They've been so successful in doing so on the T side. It seems to be their specialty is getting good opening picks to force the issue on the defense and then playing it correctly immediately after. Only one round in the previous game did Device and Xyp9x nearly pull back a 2 versus 5. Glaive. Oh, caught off entirely. Goes searching toward Boiler. Godby, as always, is positioned in such a way that doesn't necessarily... That's one of the things with Godby. It's positioning for him that gives him his skill. He's not flashy. He's not miraculous with aim. He's just smart.
Yeah, that's why I say when it's ever a 1v1 situation, when he hasn't got to pick up multiple targets and have sick aim, like that's when I normally expect him to win. And that's something that he brings in bucket loads into this big side, is cerebral play. As we get into round number 5, it will be big with the decent gun round in the previous one, but that was a bonus round from Astralis. They had SMGs and aggressive play towards the second middle. And I said Kiabi not in the greatest of positions there. But it will be next in towards Logs, and he's facing some aggression from Glaive and Xyp9x at the top of Banana, I should say. He's not going to be committing to the challenge just yet, but the Molotov pushes them back slightly. He's joined by Kiev now, and almost got that shot now, and exactly where one of the CT players are. But good flashbang. Does not get Kiev in position to actually find the frag just yet, but Xyp9x still locked in at the sandbag. The smoke will buy him some time.
Certainly will. Xyp9x at the top of Banana. Do you know what the past tense of banana is?
No.
Banana.
I don't get it.
Never mind. Device through the smoke, can't find the shot toward Boiler. No opening pick for either side this time as we get to 48 seconds. Tabson slowly inching toward a peek at quad. Godby getting out mid at the same time will give him confidence in doing something. In fact, he almost baits Godby. Luckily, no one's there. Molotovs to the pit. Dupree undetected behind the pillar. Little does he know that they've wrapped around onto Graveyard as well. So Tabson was all the way behind Dupree before he was still firing out to the quad position. It's better still, though, that Kiabi's able to stay alive, and Xyp9x adds to the total. Kiabi wraps it up, 4-1 Astralis.
Decent Banana control. They started from big, but held off by the smoke. The flashbangs followed them back towards A, and it was a bit of an execute there. Not the most technical, but they did try to group up and split between the quad side and the apartments area, but well held by Astralis. Dupree just letting them run past there, getting the information, taking a ton of damage off them as well. He takes all the aggro away for players like Kiabi to finish things off here as well, and Big couldn't find the shots required. So winning one round, they are fully reset and have to go for an eco here, round number 6. Device now finding his confidence with the AWP as he faces down towards T-steps. He knows it's one of the rounds he can start to make a mark with the AWP. Oh, once again frustrating for him. As soon as he walks away, that's when the players show, and he gets a kill regardless. So he should be absolutely fine here. Dupree backs up with the M4A4, and Dupree gets the third as well. Device, a little bit of a frustrating round for him. 4 kills for Dupree, though. He'll be very happy with that. 5-1. Money's still not amazing for the German side. 3,600 on Godby, 37 on Tabson. I don't think that's enough for a buy. A partial buy for sure, that's fine. But this is starting to get a little bit out of control. Still early days, but 6-1 down. They know they're going to be getting some more rounds on the board. They've got some great executions. We haven't even seen this half really begin yet. It's going to be PT50, CZs. A few smokes to work with here, but Device this time not as aggressively once before. He's going to be towards Banana, actually by the barrels, so something to work with. Boosted up, and this is a similar mentality I described before. They can leave him by himself in these sort of rounds. They can pull back once that smoke's deployed as well.
Or do that.
Spam and then nade, that works as well, definitely. And yeah, at this point with the man advantage, you probably don't have to leave him here. They might as well just keep 3 players at A. But it's certainly an option.
Against pistols as well, it kind of makes it... I never like leaving an op in a situation when you can lose the op to
exactly.
pistols.
Against pistols, now they've got the man advantage, you don't really have to do that. But it's certainly an option. One for Device is trying to bait in Xyp9x as best he can at this point. Smoke down as well. They probably run through that. Oh, apparently not. I thought they'd try and overwhelm Device and get that kill back in return. Oh, he hits 2 of them through the wall as well.
Back out to Xyp9x, cue him in, fire it down. Good read through the smoke. All 5 stay alive. That's exactly what you want. You want the efficiency against the pistols. Anytime that you can get it, achieve such a goal because it adds the money, or adds to the money, I should say. So they have a round in hand. They have a buy available on the big side. And the question is, do they go? Yes, they do. Immediately onto the AWP for Kiev.
6-1. Kiev out with the AWP the first time.
Oh, look at Glaive this time around. Everybody's like 10, 7, 7, 7, and then Glaive has 1 kill. Not that he's needed to do much, but he was great last game, you're right.
He got 21 kills now. Device looking towards T-spawner. They dropped the nice smokes. This is looking much better on their CT side. This is what they were lacking on his decided, dropping smoke to eradicate sudden risk, then you put for some control, then you wait for the challenge to come in then. It's looking much better. Now they can leave Device alone. At the wall position at B, he boosts himself up. We have got some apartments control from Big, but 4 players on the CT side waiting for them on the A-bomb site. In terms of utility left over, 4 smokes, a couple of Molotovs and flashbangs here. More than enough to play with. Can boost on that quad side. A lot of teams do that. Once they have base and mid control, they'll smoke off the quad itself and then boost up onto the canopy and manage to see if they can look towards pit, maybe get the AWPer up there. A lot of teams will give that a go. Control as well. Get someone like tapped and boosted up in that area. Could be easy spot. One player towards top of middle and stop rotation as they fully committed to the B area.
And eventually gives it up because Next is entering. Good trade back in. Dupree reads that one went by. They think it's clear. He slips out, takes down 2 more. And Dupree just sits inside of the pit with the coverage from Kiarbi. This is a great setup from Astralis.
Next we'll get a couple of frags there, but that's all the team gets in total. Big, they're not really showing the technicality they possess at the moment. They are doing very simple executions, getting that mid control, a couple of flashbangs out, 1 smoke at the library, and hoping they can shut down that pit area. But you can see the smokes are okay, but Dupree's not even flashed there. It was a little bit easy for them. They had so many angles to check as well. They're trying to look towards the bomb site and the pit and the balcony area itself, and he's just spraying them down and having a whale of a time. It will be PT50s once again, CZs, and they're rushing B from what I can see. Nade to the face. But they have got something to work with here. They're taking a lot of damage though, and Zipex will mow them down. They might as well commit now. 3 kills coming in, Tapson. I think that was either a nade or his own Molotov. I assume the nade. It's weird that Valve haven't implemented the icon to be correct these days. Like, you don't know if they've naded themselves or Molotov themselves. Like, it's quite a big deal with pro games.
Yeah, it should have just both symbols. Just put skull, meaning suicide, and then how it was done.
Yeah. Just so
it wouldn't be hard to do.
Like we had that clip the other day. Was it optical playing or maybe?
Like are you thinking about the final round at what was the last LAN we did?
New York.
New York, when it was on overpass. It was Volda. I think his nade went high in the sky and bounced back and hit him when Heroic was playing. I think that's who it was.
No, Volda plays for North now.
Or sorry, for North. Yeah, that's what I meant. I knew it was Volda though. It was North when they had the comeback. I'm sure of it. I think that's the one you're thinking of. We were both very confused.
I think it was like NAF or something like that. So I can't remember. Anyway, 4-on-1. This round is over. That was a pistol round. But yeah, it was confusing. We're like, what happened there? We had to go back online and look at the clip.
And then it was his own nade. Yeah.
It was something like that, you're right. 9-1. Big now not really making a dent in this T-half whatsoever. Going into overtime on overpass, all the overs. They managed to win out on Astralis is arguably their best map historically, and now after a real rough time, this is what I would say is Big's best map. I was going to say a map I'd like to see them play. It'd probably be like Inferno first, maybe Mirage, then Cash, but Inferno I always think they do very well on. But to be fair, like at the major, and even the minor and the major qualifier, they always had styles like this, but they always get like 3 or 4 rounds in towards the end, like Tabs would always have some sort of godlike round to get them into it, and then it would be enough. Their CD side is good as well, so it's not done just yet. Early days, they can still get 9-6.
Can still get 9-6, but it's that's a bit of a tall order even then. But we'll see if it's possible. Back at away kills have really been a problem considering the best that anyone has right now. 11 rounds in, the most amount of kills a single individual player has on the big side is Tabson has 3. That's shocking. They're not even finding kills. The one round they won, they had a 5-on-3 to start off the round.
Yeah. And that was when there was the bonus sound situation. And now Zipex, brutal as ever, pushes down towards Bernardo, smokes out the T-steps. They don't see it coming at all. And now they're funneled. They have no map control. They have to go out of the apartments. Luckily, one player has slipped out, but Kiabi does spot him eventually as he drops into the pit. They'll have to make something absolutely massive happen here, but it won't be enough. Dupree is looking like an absolute savage here.
Ooh. Big miss from Device as he swaps away from the AWP and uses the pistol instead. Gives Gabi something to work with, more so because he finds Dupree immediately after walking out the door. He's gone through the smoke, but they'll hear him, surely. And Zipex does act accordingly.
Maximum loss bonus, but no bombs going down at all. The bomb hasn't been planted once, Matt, after 11 rounds. Now, that is a bit of a problem.
That's a massive problem.
That just shows like the tactics they're presenting. It's not even fragging at that point. It's like they're not running the strategies properly. If there's no bombs planted after 11 rounds on the T side of Inferno, something has gone drastically wrong with your game. And you're not getting into clutch situations. You're not having any sort of presence on the bomb side whatsoever, getting shut down before you even have a chance to plant. And that is just something's just gone horribly wrong. Good nade. Ooh, doesn't do any damage somehow. Well, here we are. Another eco for the big side, 11-1. Looking very likely as Dupree finds the first kill, takes down Lagia. Tabson could punish from the boiler room. Doesn't pounce at the right time, so he'll be denied. An advantage picked up by Astralis. That's the main objective against these pistol plays. Once you have that, it's unlikely the teams can recover it. He smoked themselves out of banana. That's interesting from Tabson. No banana, but a palm. Not sure what that's going to do. You can't really creep out with that one. He actually just buys a CT sometime.
Well, buying CT sometimes one thing. Having guns is another. Getting kills is a third. And execution is a fourth. So all of those things, we'll see if they can make those work in the opposite effect they have been so far.
Devices push down banana. No need for it.
Okay. And then they just go for a knife because things are already bad, so why not make them worse?
Yeah, well, they get an orb now. There was no need for that. He pushes all the way down. They've got the man advantage and then some. He gives the orb away. They probably won't win the round, but still, like, it does make things a little uncomfortable here. 25 seconds remaining. They kill this player on confidence, which is Glaive. Maybe we have something to work with there.
Shot back out though. Xyp9x, yeah, nothing to work with. Forget that idea.
No orb, don't want to pick it up? I guess he picks up the AK. That's still actually valuable considering they have like 16k. You can't buy the AKs, and you can certainly buy the orbs with all that cash. He wants to save the AK and have the one bullet potential. So that makes a lot of sense. I take it back. 11-1 round of 13. Lots of money for Astralis. That won't be an issue in these last few rounds, but it's big. Once again, no bomb being planted. 13 rounds. So Key brings out the AWP again, but no one's really fragging. I told you that. There's 2, 2, 3, 3. Top fragger's got B with 4. That is not good news.
No, not at all. It's rough. You gotta wonder where they buy their ammunition from, and if it's rubber or not. That's a possibility. Maybe
Could
blank.
Could be. I've been firing blanks for years.
Could be like Cuphead. They're just pointing their finger and hoping it just goes pew pew pew.
Yeah, could be. Don't know.
All things are possible.
Oh, I thought that was the opening pick. Tabson, their star player, gifted a chance. The refrag comes in from Lagia though, but 4-4 does technically favour the T's, but the way they're playing right now, I'm not sure that's going to be the case. 1 minute remaining. We still have a couple of smokes to work with them. Flashbangs, Molotovs as well. So plenty there. Key for the orb. No head armor on him, but not a big deal considering he has 2 AKs and an orb up against him.
Oh, Kiabi, good find. He's still in the flames. Somehow still alive. Nearly finds the third next. Gets him down because it was pretty easy picking at that point in time. Godbeast Flames had done so much damage. It's only a one-man advantage for Astralis, but that has been more than sufficient throughout the course of this affair, so it might well be again. Vice, only the Deagle to play with, has the AWP, but decides not to. Now okay. You know, whatever. Logic.
He doesn't have to make these plays. They're having a bit of fun right now. The last round, he gave himself up a banana. Didn't have to push on the corner there with Deagle, but got away with it, dropped the bomb. Does guarantee the round, but that was definitely not required. Kiev now looking to save the orb. Once again, no bomb being planted. He'll get no money into this round, so he can't drop a weapon. His team in maximum loss bonus, though, can just about buy up. They have 2 players with full buys. That's if Kiev survives. He needs to make sure he doesn't die off this time it goes down. It could happen. They're coming towards him. They're rushing him. Oh, be careful, Kiev.
Oh, God.
Oh, no money.
Oh, God. It's all gone wrong.
Oh, hold me.
I mean, you don't have to ask.
He's got 2 kills and $100. Can't buy armor. They're going to force buy.
That's unbelievable. That is just... Wow. I'm so sorry. They're waiting and relying on it, and that's the way it ends after being down 12-1 already. Ooh, it's... You hate to see it, as you would say, Hank.
Yeah. Oh, now the fun begins. Xyp9x has pulled it out. The Dak, is that what we call it?
Dak. That's what Chad calls it.
All right, then.
I can get behind it. I can enjoy that.
Keeps by a PT-50, no armor. That's all his money gone.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. He had $100 after that. Device, meanwhile, waits behind the smoke. Easy. Shot on Nagia, goes out for more. Finally taken down by Gabi, but a 2-for-1 to start it off. Again, Astralis has a hefty lead. Where is the Dak?
One flashbang to work with. I think it's Zipex and Arch, which it is indeed. Oh no, they've got nothing to get. Oh, they've got a smoke. I take it back. They can smoke the Arch. It's considering you have one smoke, it's not ideal to throw it there.
Yeah.
I think they just have to hope for the best and use the smoke for the retake if that even comes in. They still haven't planted the bomb yet. CT's ready and waiting. It's Kiabi looking to get one kill. That would be fine. There's the smoke, and they'll get something from it. They're pushing onto the side now, and that's actually open. So it's Dupree coming from the apartments. Gopi has to go for the safe plant here, and now they could actually win this one. They picked up some utility as well. A couple of flashbangs, and Dupree trying to find the kill.
Trying to. Glaive doing the same.
Flash over. Here we go.
I love it.
The Aug's out.
Why not? He probably bought that, left it in spawn, so the Dak was less likely. He goes to this instead. He's trying to pull a Majestic Boy. Either way, they're going to pull off the rounds. You're right, Krieg. Okay, same equivalent weapon on the other side.
Yeah, it's not the same, is it?
You're so technical all the time. Does anyone ever tell you you're not that fun at parties?
No, actually, I'm too fun of anything. I actually end up
actually, yeah. Okay,
I ruin people's nights by being too much fun.
And your own sometimes.
Yeah. But 13-1. The Orc did come out, a rare appearance. At one point, it did seem like it was going to be prevalent in CSGO at the very beginning. It had that buff at one stage, remember?
Yeah, oh my god. That wasn't even at the beginning. That was in like 2013,
yeah, that's right.
I think.
That was the week of hell with the Orc.
Oh, Jesus. Little laser beam.
Yeah. I love it when they make updates like that. They just like, they try and balance one thing and actually break the game.
It? Yeah, exactly.
And it's a week of hell. You can't actually play.
I think to be fair, that happens a lot.
They did it with the Revolver. They did it with the Orc.
It happens in Dota all the time, too, with a new hero. Because they put it in and they go, we think this works. And then someone finds a way that it counters someone just ungodly, unbalanced, and then they have to bring it back. So it kind of makes sense. You do something and you think in your head, okay, yeah, that was right. But then it turns out to be a little too far. A little too far out was the AWP of Device. And yet somehow he gets back through the smoke and survives. So he's still in the round, and he's got Zipex alongside of him.
Wondering what Maniac thought the R8 was a little bit too much. Maybe just a little bit too much.
I mean, I just like country and western.
Yeah.
Dupree, good shot on taps and Lagia, and then follows it up onto Keith. That's pretty good. This is going to go 14-1, surely.
No, I'm believing right now.
Okay, well, I'm glad you are. I'm not going to jump on your side of the crazy wagon.
Zipex, they're getting ahead of themselves. Here we go. Close. 14-1. Well, the first one was excellent. We had lots of fun there. It was an overtime game with some fireworks towards the end as well. Astralis, the favourites to win it, keeping it up. But this one, back to business as usual. This is not the scoreline I expected by anybody. I didn't think a 14-1 would be coming in. But still, we'll see if Big can do anything in the second half after the break.
This more perhaps what you may have expected if you looked at these two teams on paper. Our last game was 11-4 at halftime. Everything looked like it was going the same or similar way.
Sure.
And they lost in overtime. Now Astralis is back with vengeance. 14-1. Swap over. T-side, win the pistol. Pretty much done.
Astralis has got into 5th gear there and ran away with it. Look at the frags.
I'd say they're in like 7th. You know,
Yeah.
most cars these days are a little fuel efficient,
That's
rely
true.
on turbo range, shorter gear ratios.
Keeve 2 for 15. He died every single round, got 2 kills. That's not great. Tabson, that's the bigger news here. 4 kills, 14 deaths. He normally, it's so rare for him to have a bad game. I don't think I've ever seen a bad game from him, really. When he's played in this lineup, he always seems to be top of the scoreboard, running away with it, keeping them alive. But if he drops off, that's the big problem, isn't it? Then you've got something there. The other guys having bad games as well. You haven't really got his superstar ability to fall back onto. And we find ourselves in a world of pain here. The only player really performing is next. They've got 1 round on the board. No real frags coming in at all. Now, the only round they got, Matt, was not a gun round. It was against the bonus situation where Astralis just rushed middle.
Yep.
And that's why he picked it up with the pre-fires on the interesting positions from Astralis.
Yep. And
No bomb was planted.
And they also...
Oh, no, they did get a bomb in the very last round. I take it back.
Yeah, that's good point. Okay, they got one bomb plant. But the round, obviously the rushing down gave them the 5 versus 2, which then even still was a bit of a contest for them to win the round.
Yep.
Give you an idea. I can't because it's ESL. It resets the scoreboard. It's going to give me an idea of the frag totals. But either way, Zipex to start it off. Exactly what Astralis wants. And, yeah, at least gets 1 back. But Tabson has to be very careful backing in behind the sandbags. His device wants around the corner. Tabson is low. 18, but Legia gets a shot on Zipex. Legia follows it up. He's got 3 in the round. Always seems to show up when needed. He's got 4. He could get an ace, Legia.
Oh, one of those rounds is up. 14-1 down, and someone finally gets an ace after losing the first couple of frags. Well, there we go. I think Legia probably will be looking for it. Oh, no, don't do it like this, lads.
You say he's got an ace. We're not done yet.
No, Dupree could definitely still win this as smoke as well. He smokes spawn. There it is. Legia might push in front of it, but he gets it.
Nicely done.
Oh, got to scare
The way you said that, it was like it was already done. I was like, Hank, there's still a kill to find.
Well, he got it. That's all fine.
He got it.
That was a nice shot. They're all pretty crispy.
Crispy. That one's pretty good. The second one was the best.
Yeah.
In the sequence.
Well, there we go. They win the pistol again. So Astralis can't find these pistol rounds just when they need them. Like when they think like they can just close the game out. Happened to overpass, like you mentioned. 11-4 in the first half. Lost the pistol, and then look what happened. Coffee, he's keen, isn't he? Down he goes.
That's very, very... Astralis is like, one of these. This used to be my least favorite thing about Inferno when you played matchmaking, is you get those teams that would just do stupid pushes, but then your team wasn't coordinated because you solo queued, and you get stuck in your spawn waiting for someone to do something, and it just became a battle of like really dumb mistakes and who was more random, I guess.
Yeah.
That's why I used to hate playing Inferno without playing in a stack.
Yeah, that can happen. Well, they've got the man advantage here. That push didn't really work out for Keeve. As we get into round number 2 here, 1 minute remaining, and 1 smoke, a flashbang as well, waiting for any sort of CT pushes again. Dupree will be towards the apartment. Glaive looking for anyone with the banana here. There is presence at the top, but they've only got 1 in 4. That's in the hand of Legia. Got the ace, obviously. He could have actually put an open this round if he wanted to, but the M4 will suffice, and we'll get a couple of kills here. Finding some form here, maybe a little bit too late to find so, but Tabson goes down, and they keep pushing. Need to be very careful there, boys. Still a 3-on-3. Or 3-on-2 now. As Godby finds another.
Zipex just sitting by. Trying to find his shoulder. Ooh. Good shot by Nex. Gabby starts to work out on the balcony. Very peaceful and tranquil, but then he gets shot. Not exactly where you want to be. Gabby finds a 3rd round now for Big. Another comeback, Hank?
Yep.
Possible? Yeah?
Yep, I think so.
Hank said it. You heard it here first. If it doesn't happen now, you can blame Henry.
14-3. 2K per player. Polico now for Astralis. Very aggressive round from Big. Almost fell apart, but they managed to hold it together. And will be Glocks across the board, so not really much Astralis can do about this one. It's just a matter of them holding T-steps, apparently. They're doing that game. With Glocks, no armor, no nades.
Do it. Just sit there. Everyone crouch, crab walk. Remember that strategy from NIP once?
Yeah.
Seems legit. Seems doable. Duper's actually going to cook some eggs. They're all going to have breakfast. Yeah. KRB sitting at the head of the table. The young man thinks he's more in charge. Glaive's actually, this is very surprising that they're all just waiting. This is almost like watching a vlog from Optic where Freiburg had to deliver the food to everyone.
Here
comes, there's the plate.
Oh
Zippix gets his first. All right.
That's one.
Good.
So he's got the
coffee? Oh, he broke. No coffee for them, apparently.
Okay, well, the frying pan's broken as well. The oven won't turn on.
Frying pan's the best armor in all of PUBG. So I wonder if they could actually pick that up in this game and use it. That would be pretty substantial. Well, this is my favorite round to date. Unfortunately, even though they're feeling well-fed and energized, tabseN's feeling a little more hungry because he's got 4 kills and shuts them down.
Well, they entertained it somewhat. The dinner party of Astralis. So all you go for first, he's trying to serve the salt and pepper on the table. He's trying to get that over for the guests. Didn't really work out. But then the frying pan was broken. The pots and pans are falling apart. The fan was switched off to the top there. It was just a horrible experience, wasn't it?
I'm never getting Dupree to cook for me. Let's just put it that way.
Oh. Speaking of cooking, there's nothing really I could go with that. That was a dead end. There's no cooking going on. Maybe the fire at the bottom of Banana.
Was he cooking with gas, Hank?
Could be. And it's going to be God B. He certainly is. 2 kills for him with the M4. Takes down Zippix and Dupree. This could be a 30-round map. He's coming back again. Imagine if they came back in 1-15-0. What would you do?
I don't know. I would look back on that dinner party and with glee and laugh. Because what else could you do?
If you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Ah, well, you'll do something.
Can happen in CS, especially on the CT side of Inferno. A 14-1 to a 15-0. It's happened in some big events before.
It's remarkable, isn't it? Kiev, down goes Glaive. The AK's not really doing much. Perhaps at dinner they should have thought about plans for the next round. They could have talked it. They were all there. Communication would have been easy. But they didn't. They chose not to. They didn't. And now we're in a situation where Big's about to find round 5 for them. And it would now be 4 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. Indeed it is.
Maverico. Round by round, Big. Just have to concentrate on their setups here. The T side was abysmal, but Astralis never been known as the strongest Inferno side. I think their CT side is considered good. Their T side can be erratic at times. They rely very heavily on those individuals and staying as a 5-man unit. The execution hasn't really impressed me that much in the past on this map, but we'll see what they can do with the CZs and the Deagles here. 1 round just to get match point. That should be the beginning. At the end of that stage, it'll be like Big just trying not to make a mistake. And what we've seen so far, they are plentiful on this map at this point.
I wish we could have got their comms during the dinner party.
What's he could Danish?
Yeah, you're right. Okay, it's Danish. If it was English, it probably would have been funny.
They talked
another
language.
They did English a few times. They used to have funny comms.
Yeah.
When I say Cajun,
you say B.
Yeah, that was them. Let's not forget.
Do you know any Danish words yet since you've been living here?
Nope. No. I know if I put a potato in my mouth, I'll sound more Danish, though.
Hey.
I can make that joke. A Danish person told me. I feel like that's fair.
Oh. I'm going to leave that.
Legia, good shot back to take down Glaive. It's all a bit of fun, Hank. As tabseN rotates back into pistols. Not finding anything. tabseN finding everything. He's gotten 2 kills, just as Legia has done, and tabseN will better that by getting the 3rd and final in the round. It goes 14-6.
Does the orb come out? I don't think it does. It's going to be device with the AK here. 5 AK-47s. This will be indicative as to whether Big can maybe pull out the comeback of the century. Well, maybe not century. Maybe of the year. Month. Come back of the
maybe
week.
Today.
Come back of today in round number 6. Let's see if they can do it. As Kiev look to go aggressive there. tabseN wants to flirt the idea of boosting him up. They're both being roasted.
Ooh.
Oh, not the double
what?
roast.
Device? He's sitting on the sidelines laughing right now because they commit to taking him down and therefore boost it up. They both die. Well, he'll be loving that. Surely. Someone has to love that. Good find back by Gobby.
Oh, Danish hunk roast 2 Germans. Not safe for work. Hate to see that. And it will be Astralis finding match point here, map. Surely.
Should indeed be, finally. It's taken them a bit in this half, but they're all right with that. They're having fun about it. CT's not even considering going, but they will now. 2 kits next, and Legia have them. Next wants to work in from the gap side in the smoke. Dupree flashed off in the sight, looks the wrong way, but now realizes that they're both there. Only gets one, but communication relay, and he's done damage. It still gets traded back. Kiarbi holds true in the pit.
A chance, 1v1, but there it is, match point, map point, whatever you want to call it. It's the second one after going overtime on the first. And we can see now, one more will do it. The money's pretty decent, of course, to the German side after finding 5 rounds in a row. Round number 7 comes in. Astralis not fully equipped though. 3 AKs and a couple of UMPs there. And we'll see whether they can do anything about it. As we go into a banana rush for 2 players here released. Flashbangs are good. Amazing potentially.
Yeah, that was remarkable considering now it's a very quick attack. Kiarbi, we're at a minute and 34. He's already in ruins.
Yeah, look how deep he is into the side. So they can even smoke spawn to suggest he's not there. But they haven't even crossed yet, so now they're smoking. And they'll be running into ruins. Oh, they might know.
The flash in suggests that they do. Oh, and a flash timing goes out. They definitely know he's there. Now it flashes out, though, and gets both. He almost got caught out. Instead, it was about perfect in the end. Almost too perfect. Astralis win it. They do make up for, or rather make amends for losing the first game in spectacular fashion in overtime. Convincing win. Took them a bit in the second half, but I think they had some fun getting there.
They had a bit of fun there. It was a little bit of a disappointing game considering what we saw in the first, but Matthew, it's that time again. We'll throw it over to Alex and the boys on the desk.
It is that time once again. Thank you so much, guys. That is Sedikist and Henry G. You'll be hearing more from them as we venture into our second series. For now, though, I am joined by Janko Paunovic and Chad Birchall. We've got a lot to talk about with this one.
Yeah, just quickly, can we call our boy band or our group Alex and the Boys?
Alex and the Boys?
Yeah, because he said let's start over Alex and the Boys.
It kind of sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not complaining. That sounds very... I'm loving that.
Song number 1, Playing with the Boys.
Oh, we could have more like DJs then. We just play different songs. We could have like a CS remix. We could maybe do a concert at like between a semi-final and
we
grand
could
final.
show Janko the rest of the world Frank Stallone.
True. That was a gem. I didn't know about that one.
Oh, so much to be talked about. Music, maybe some Counter-Strike.
We can do that.
Yeah, okay,
There's
cool.
a lot of Counter-Strike going on, Alex. I'm not sure how you can call this one. The guys from Big, I believe they only had 22 frags in the first half combined. So that tells you they weren't even averaging 2 kills per round. So obviously a very dominant performance from Astralis. Bounced right back after overpass 14-1 in the first half. And after that, it was only a matter of time before they could secure the 2 remaining rounds.
If there was a game that's ever been over in like the first 10 rounds, that was it. Because you could just see Astralis take their foot off the gas. Device just going for some really risque kind of plays. He looks like he was just trying to have fun. Henry was pointing it out. That's what it looked like to me. They were
just want to have fun.
They were just going for individual plays and stuff, and it's good to see. That's the type of Counter-Strike I like playing.
Also, both Kirby and Dupree towards quad.
Yes.
You know, just like peeking randomly towards mid and winning the duels. That shows you that the players are feeling super confident. You know, in a different situation, they probably wouldn't take those risks. Also, Device playing super close down banana with the AWP and so forth. But before it came to that, it was just, you know, basically Astralis playing good Counter-Strike on the CT side, and the executes that, or the plan that Big had coming into this game didn't really pan out, and on top of that, they were completely, you know, mismatched in the firepower department.
I don't want to go too deep into this, Alex, but I said in the pre-show for the whole series, you know, that, you know, innovating is going to be something that's very difficult for GodB to be able to do on a continuous kind of stretch. And here we saw them come out with the same old A execute that they ran. And once you know it, once you know how to react, once you find the gaps, it's very easy at that point as the CT side to know how to react, right? If you dodge that flash, if you get that time, you know where that Molotov's going to land, you know the flight path that they're going to run, then you know where to be looking.
Now, I mean, this may be putting you on the spot, and do let me know if it's a bit too much, but you know, you don't have the tools, you're not in game, so I don't know if you can necessarily give me the specifics, but what is that predictable execute?
It's not predictable, it's the same with anybody's execute. You know, you have your go-to execute.
Okay, there isn't something specifically Big are doing. You mean there is one recipe that they have and they apply to their A takes. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's just like, you know, you look at the key parts of that execute, right? So it's maybe a specific flash that you know that timing comes maybe a second or two after the balcony Molotov.
So once Astralis have got to grips with that, it's actually not too hard.
And this is the thing, right? This is why it's so difficult in modern Counter-Strike, especially with all the online leagues and then all the offline tournaments, to balance where and when you're going to use your strategies and moves. And if you can constantly come up with new ones, where do you test them out?
Yeah.
Do you do it in scrims? Because someone's going to see it and they're going to go, that's a sick Molotov, we're going to use that. And then it's already going to be used by someone else, and at that point it's countered. And you're like, well, like at what point do you actually get to bring this stuff out and play? Yeah, I mean,
I still remember Fallen getting so upset that a Molotov that he'd been keeping in his back pocket was thrown at Summit. I absolutely loved that. I watched his his mind see it getting lined up. He was like, no, don't use that now. Don't use that now. And it's gone. Everyone knows it. It's there. It's broadcast, and any power you thought you had with that's gone.
I think that's why you have teams, for example, like SK, who play more of a default type of a style when it comes to CS, right? Because when you do that, there's not that really much to counter, and they end the rounds in different ways depending on what the call is mid-round or what happened up until that point. And in that sense, they're a bit more difficult to counter than some of the other teams. But what Big does well is they don't just throw a flash for the sake of it, right? Every piece of utility they use in an execute is used for a certain purpose. And I think that in that sense, they're similar to Astralis. And that's why some of their executes, even though they are very similar, if not the same to what most of the other teams use, it's those small nuances that basically give them an edge.
Yeah, and actually that last round is standing out to me, that just fast B-take, Yenko. Like, you got to see Kirby, like, he's in ruins, like Matt said, like 1 minute 36 or something, he's in ruins. Like,
I think that's just a cool play, you know, because when the CTs throw that smoke next to the wall in Banana, you do tend to feel very safe because it's very difficult to push through it. You know, yes, you have pop flashes, but one of the CT players is usually in an anti-flash position. That's just, you know, throwing caution out the wind and pushing through it, pop flashing, and
it was vicious.
Yeah, and when you have so many rounds to play with, you know, you can try those things, you can take those risks, and that way they were feeling, you know, they were feeling that.
Yeah, he's like, right, I'm just gonna try B, and then there's a quick flash. And
there was a plan because they did have the flashes and he had a follow-up player with him, right? But it was just kind of a balls deep play, which is something that Astralis definitely need to bring into their game a little bit more so than the structure. If they can have a little bit more fluidity, if they can allow their stars to be stars in their own individual right, then that can help with the growth of this team and maybe especially in online matches get them back on track.
Okay, and with all of that said, we turn our attention to Big. They are finishing their series 1-1, a split versus Astralis. Now, the points we made, and you may have missed them in the pre-match, in fact it was Chad that raised them, was just that their schedule coming into the rest of not only the Super Week but the rest of the Pro League, it's not pretty. In fact, from the top of my head, you had names such as Na'Vi was an okay win. You had North waiting in the wings, G2 are waiting in the wings. Who else am I forgetting?
I'm getting there. Sorry, Alex.
No, it's okay.
I did close it.
It's scary, yeah.
Even Heroes, you know, the win against Astralis, but it's 2 points instead of 3, right? Because it was in overtime. You have to take that into account as well. This season, an overtime loss gives you 1 point. Overtime win gives you 2. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult for Big. But, I mean, if they can take down Astralis on Overpass, any of these teams, there's going to be a map where Big can at least put up a good fight. So, even though a number of these teams are stronger, at least on paper, that doesn't mean they're going to beat them 2-0. You always, in a system like this, you're basically, at least on one map, you have a good chance.
Okay, well, I guess we'll leave it there. We've seen two very different faces to Big. We got to see them taking Astralis on a map that used to be world #1 on. Overpass went the way of the Germans. Inferno, a much different story as the Danes did stabilize. We're seeing if their brethren can do better. It's going to be FaZe that stand against North in our next battle. Another 2 maps coming up your face after this.